Alright, what's going on everyone on YouTube? NES Roller, welcome to a brand new DVD and Blu-ray update. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of stuff to show you guys, so I hope you guys like what you see. Thanks again everybody for watching my reviews that I've been posting this last week or so. I hope you guys have been enjoying them. Those should be coming to an end within the next few days. I have like 3 more that I'm going to upload for you guys. So I hope you guys have been enjoying those. I had some of those in the update, but I'll just talk about them briefly. If you want to watch my review on them, you can do so. So let's get into it. This is a cool find. I actually found this at a half price books for $1. And I was like, this is fucking gnarly. And that is a House 2 beta tape. Yeah. You guys know I love my different formats. As you tell with my Laserdisc, I don't know if the camera shows up there or not, but I love my different formats. Beta is one of the more at least today, one of the more obscure formats to collect for, simply because of the fact that the machines are pretty hard to find. I have a few of them just because I found them at thrift stores and I just buy them every time I see them, which is not very often. It took me like 3 years to find just one player, and then, you know, I found a few since then, which I found my first player like 2 years ago, and I found like 2 more since then. So they're really hard to come across, but yeah, this was really cool find for $1. Yeah. I mean, it still has the front label on there. Yeah, really cool find. I don't find beta tapes very often, so that's very cool whenever I find that. Alright, let's get into the pickups. Family Video, $1.50. End of the month, you know, go hit up the sales. Start of the month, so I'll go probably this week and go hit up the Family Videos, pick up the new movies. So we have Horns. This is a movie I've been wanting to check out for a long time. I've heard some pretty interesting things. It's 2 hours long though, it's pretty long. But I've heard Daniel Radcliffe does a really good job in this film, and totally different than his typical Harry Potter role, so that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to pick it up and check it out. Dimension. I didn't know Dimension made this movie. Interesting. But that's Horns. Very curious to check this one out. Let me get to that pretty soon. We got Terry Gilliam's new movie, The Zero Theorem. This one looks really interesting too. Really good. I really like Terry Gilliam. It's a whole bunch of weird ass shit. And from what I've heard, this one's really strange and bizarre also, which is to be expected. Christopher Waltz, who's awesome. He's in this film, so very curious to check this one out. Released by Well Go USA. But you know, I own so many movies, I never know if I get around to them. Yes, I watch them, I promise, even though I don't have them haven't watched them in the update. I get around to them, I swear. But they're so cheap. I mean, even if you go to Redbox and you rent them for a day, it's $1.20 now. I mean, I pay $1.50, I get to keep them, so fuck you, all the haters. We got Tusk. This is put out by Lionsgate. This is another movie I've been wanting to check out. Came out last year, had some pretty interesting talk, and it's one I've been wanting to check out, one I've been waiting to drop down in price, and it's finally did. So very curious about this one. Like I said, I've heard some pretty interesting things, and I'm a pretty big Kevin Smith fan also, so curious to check out Tusk. It's supposed to be a very bizarre movie. Open Windows. Yeah, I've been wanting to check this one out for a while also. I just never found it for a good price. And Elijah Wood, he's pretty good. You know, he's really good at Maniac. He did a really great job in that movie. Sasha Grey, not my favorite actress. If you guys have read my review that I wrote on Would You Rather, I think she's probably the weakest part in that film. She's not as bad as like in that film as like Smash Cut, where she's really bad, but I'm curious to check this one out, to be completely honest. It's supposed to be like a Rear Window type of a film, so seems really cool. Yeah, put out by Cine Dingum, which I think is part of the Sundance Selects. I think it's Sundance Selects line. But yeah, Open Windows. It's gonna drive me crazy now. I have to check. Tribeca, not Sundance. Tribeca. Part of the Tribeca line. Oh yeah, if you guys follow me on the 22 Shots of Movies and Horror podcast, you'll probably know this is probably my most wanted film to get a release. This is a movie that's never had a release on any formats besides VHS and Laserdisc. It's never had a DVD release or anything like that. Scream Factory finally released it. It's been one I've been wanting for fucking forever to get a release, and that is Ghost Town. Yeah, I was trying to hunt down this Laserdisc for a long time, but it was really, really hard to find and really expensive because I've been wanting to check this film out for a really long time, and Scream Factory announced it, and when they announced it, I pre-ordered it the first day. So, does this movie live up to the hype? I'd say so. It's a really, really fun film, really different. Like I said, it feels like a really long Tales from the Crypt episode. It really has that kind of a feel to it. I wish they would make more horror westerns. There's a few, but there's not that many, so I really hope that we see some good ones come out in the future, because this one's really interesting. It's really, really good. We follow this cop who's trying to find this woman who shows up missing. He comes across this Wild West town from the late 1800s in the middle of nowhere, and it's filled with spirits, and he has to try and kill this guy, this spirit that has this demon, and that's what he's trying to do, is kill this guy with the demon, the spirit with this demon in it. It's really cool. It's a fun film. The atmosphere is really, really awesome. Highly recommend it. So that's Ghost Town. It's an Empire film, so you know what you're going to get yourself into. Really, really cool. Of course, refers cover art because of Scream Factory. Really love that art too. It's really cool. But yeah, Ghost Town. I think this sold well, just from the fact that I didn't have a release or anything from it. So I'd be curious to see how many copies this sold of, because I think it did really well. So that's Ghost Town. I finally got around to picking up Snowpiercer. I've heard pretty interesting things from this film. I know some of my professors that I've talked to are not a huge fan of this movie, but I've heard a lot of other people really, really like it. So it's been one I've been meaning to check out for a while now, and I figured for $1 I should probably pick it up and give it a watch finally. Fortunately, it didn't come with the stupid second disc with all the bonus features, which kind of pisses me off a little bit. I'm going to have to try and find that second disc because that will drive me crazy. But that's Snowpiercer. Next we have Frank. This is another film I've been wanting to check out for a while. That's not a horror film. I'm just really curious about it. I'm a pretty big fan of Michael Fassbender. I think he's done some pretty cool films. So I'm pretty curious to check this out. I really don't buy too many non-horror films these days, but this is one I've been wanting to check out since it actually came out in theaters. Simply because of the fact I find it very strange and interesting that Michael Fassbender wears that head on his head the whole time. So fake head. So curious about Frank. Seems very, very weird and odd. I picked up Kink, the 51st Shades of Grey. This is released by Dark Sky. I got this at Family Video for $1.50. It's been one I've been wanting to check out for a while. I don't know if this is a documentary or what it is. I couldn't really find much about it on the internet, but James Franco produced it, which really doesn't mean jack shit. But if anybody's seen this, let me know. Is this a documentary? Is this a narrative, a fiction narrative film? What is it? I'm curious. But it's Dark Sky. That's the main reason why I picked it up. I support them all the way, all the time. I know it's $1.50, so I figured why the hell not? I'd give it a shot. Alright, next for $1 we have Stephen King's A Good Marriage, another film I've been wanting to check out for a little bit now. Stephen King, I think it's more of a drama, mystery type of a drama, but anything with Stephen King's name on it, I'm going to pick it up and give it a shot. Seems pretty interesting. And like I said, one I've been wanting to pick out for a while, Screen Media release. Next we have Inner Demons. This is an IFC Midnight release. I talked about this. I did a review. If you guys want to check it out, I think I posted it 2 videos ago or so. I'll put a link down below anyway if you guys want to check it out. This is a pretty mediocre procession film, to be completely honest. It's not very good. It's worth a rent and watch maybe one time, but besides that, I don't see any rewatchable value in this one. Check out my review if you want to hear more about it, but that's Inner Demons. Next we have I Lived. This is from the director who did the Maniac remake 2 years ago now. I did a review on this one too. I'll post it in a few days. But this one's interesting. I don't want to give it too much away. I'll talk about it in my review a little bit, but it has this really interesting second screen experience that I really haven't seen in too many films. Some films, you know, capitalized on there, but it comes with this piece of paper. And you put an app on your phone, which I didn't do just because, but put an app on your phone and it's supposed to sync up to the dialogue and things like that. I'm going to have to check this out again, but very interesting little tidbit that this movie does. But this is released by who released this? Accelerator Media. But yeah, I'm very curious. I did a review on this one. I'll post it, like I said, in a few days. I'm trying to space them out, try to do like one every 2 or 3 days or so. So I'll have a review up for this one coming up in a few days. But I lived, or if it's already up, you know, it could possibly be up already. But I lived. Next we have Soaked in Bleach. I did a review on this one also. This was released by MVD. This is a really interesting documentary pro Kurt Cobain didn't kill himself. Something was up with Courtney Love. Really, really interesting. Really different than most documentaries. Like I said, I'll post this review up probably next week. I'll probably wait out for a little bit for this one just to let all the other reviews catch up in this video. But so look forward to my review of this next week. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, Soaked in Blood. Really, really intriguing documentary. The Babadook. Finally picked this up. I did a lecture on this film. Every summer, one of my old professors from like 3.5 years ago, when I did my gen eds before I went to film school, so I went to community college, did all my gen eds, all my maths, all that stuff, and then I went to film school. So, you know, I took a humanities class, which was just a film class, and this was 3.5 years ago now. And this professor, I've talked to all the time still, simply because of the fact that I think going to community college and not too many kids are into film like I am, and to have someone like me come into class and chatting away, I think he really enjoyed what I had to say about certain movies and stuff like that. So every summer he teaches another class, and he lets me come in and he lets me give a lecture. Last summer I did a lecture on House of the Devil, which was really fun, and this summer I did a lecture on The Babadook. Really interesting film, really different, and a whole bunch of interesting German expressionist things going on in this movie. I'm not going to talk about it. Everyone's talked the shit out of it. But I figured if I was going to buy it, I might as well just get the nice special edition with the pop-up book. If I'm going to pay for it, I might as well. I could have got this at Family Video on DVD for $6, but I figured I might as well just pay $10 more and get the nice Blu-ray special edition because it's cool. So yeah, The Babadook. Like I said, everyone's talked the shit about this movie last year, including me on the podcast, so I'm not really going to get into it too much. Next we have The Last Survivor. Ugh. I dropped everything. Next we have The Last Survivors. This is my lastly posted review, I think. So check my review out on this one. It's a really interesting post-apocalyptic movie. It's just above average in my opinion. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. So check out my review on this film. It's really interesting. Cinematography in this film is really, really solid. The Last Survivor. There's my notes that I took when I was watching it. Last Survivors. We have Salvation. The Salvation, I did a review on this also. I'll put a link down below if you want to check this one out. Really interesting Western film. Really good with Mads Mikkelsen. So check this one out. It's really interesting. Salvation. Alright, the next 7 titles here. I did a trade with Turi Del Amor on the Facebook page, on the 20 Shots of Movies and Horror Facebook page. He had a whole bunch of movies he was looking to get rid of, and I traded him Cheerleader Camp to Anchor Bay. I traded him Bad Milo, Cube, Zero, the Collection Blu-ray, and I traded him Pelts, the Masters of Horror film, and I think that's all I sent him, if I stand corrected. Yeah, and he returned. He hooked me up, sent me some movies. These are all Blue Undergrounds, Synapse, and Anchor Bay, which is awesome. So he sent me, 7 movies. I sent him 5, but Cheerleader Camp's a little bit out of print, so he allowed for that. So that was pretty sweet. So let's get into it. Shockwave, Blue Underground, I've heard really interesting things about this film, so I'd be curious to check this one out soon. Shockwave. The City of the Living Dead. I had this Anchor Bay release, but I figured why not? I'll grab the Blue Underground release too, just because he was looking to get rid of it. Whatever, I traded him, so that was cool. City of the Living Dead. We have The Living Dead of Manchester Morgue, 2 discs, Blue Underground release. Really nice release with a booklet, and yeah, this came with the slipcase, but it was a little beat up and you know, a little dirty. I don't think that was Turi's fault. I think he got it like that, so I just took the slipcase off of it because, you know, it wasn't in the best shape. But yeah, very curious about this film also. I don't know. I think this is an Italian film, to be completely honest. Wouldn't surprise me if it's not. Like I said, I'm not pretty familiar with Italian cinema. I haven't really watched that much Italian cinema, so when it comes to these Italian films, if this is an Italian film, I don't know very much about them, but hopefully that changed. We're doing an Italian month on the podcast coming up in November, so I'll be watching 12 Italian films. So yeah. Next we have Contamination. This just came out by Arrow, but you know, I figured I'd just grab the Blue Underground film release of it. It's fine for me for now. I don't want to really dish out for the Arrow film Arrow release. This is supposed to be a really interesting alien knockoff, according to JP. And we have Christmas Evil. This is a Synapse release. Another film I didn't have, but we did on the podcast. I just VOD'd it. So yeah, Christmas Evil, really, really fantastic Christmas film, I have to say. Listen to the podcast if you want to hear my thoughts on this one. It's really good. The Howling 2, I know this just came out from Scream Factory, but I didn't have the DVD, so I figured I'd grab it also. This movie's terrible. It's so bad. I saw this in 35mm 2 years ago with a full theater full of people. It's a fun film, but it's fucking terrible. And the ending credits is awesome. Yeah, it's just a flipper disc. This is probably the coolest thing in the trade. This is the Anchor Bay 2-disc release of Herzog's Nosferatu. I absolutely love this film. It is a fucking masterpiece in my opinion. It is so good. It's definitely in my top 10 list of favorite films of all time. It is awesome. Klaus Kinski does a fantastic job, and it has a level of atmosphere and cinematography that it just screams Herzog. And this is awesome. This is a 2-disc edition. There's a 1-disc edition, and then there's this 2-disc edition, which is harder to find. And I didn't know that he had the 2-disc, which is pretty awesome. It comes with the insert and the 2-disc. I had to get that Scream Factory Blu-ray, but this is a really cool edition, and it's still not that easy to find. It still goes for a little bit of money online. So Nosferatu, very cool trade. So thank you, bud, for those trades. That was a really solid trade. Got a lot of movies I didn't have. So let's finish this up with some good old Laserdiscs, shall we? Grab 2 more Laserdisc half-price books. I haven't found many anymore. Not many people sell them, unfortunately, anymore, so I really don't buy them as often. But these 2 are pretty sweet. These were all $1.99, $2. Brain Scan. Yeah, I have this DVD, but that cover is fucking gnarly. It's not as good as the DVD cover, but it screams early 90s. You know, this movie is totally a film of its time. Well, I guess this came out in the mid-90s, to be honest. But it totally screams 90s. Totally a film of its time. And Jacob's Ladder. Yeah, this movie I've actually never seen. And it's one I probably should. So that's why I picked it up. So yeah. So, thank you everybody for watching. If you like this update, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NESRuler22. And always, you can read my written reviews at the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror.com. It's 22 Shots of Moods and Horror.com. And you can check out all my video reviews also on my channel. Hope everyone's doing well. And I'll talk to you guys soon. See you guys.